Oh my God.
Hi.
I love your setup so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually changing it soon. Hence the hole in the wall right there.
Oh,
I ripped the wallpaper. I ripped my logo down. I'm gonna redo the wall, so it's kind of like a little in between at the moment, but
yeah.
we make it work.
Okay. Well, I'm operating out of my closet.
I mean, I'm in my pantry,
Are
so
you?
it's fine. Yeah, the other side, the other side of this is my pantry, and then this side is like. So we like split this one room that we had that was labeled like when we moved in, it was labeled a dining room. And I'm like, what? Who's dining in here? It's so tiny. So we did like a pantry on one side and like my office on the other side. It works.
Who's dining in here? Little elves?
Exactly. I'm like, what kind of table, dining room table are we fitting in here for four people? Like, why would you have a dining room for just, a small amount of people? It makes no sense. But, so we made other use for it. So it works.
I love it. I love it so much. Anywho, so as I don't know, I guess we've never gotten to chat before. I was gonna say I look hot mess express, and I thought about trying to rummage through and do the whole oh, let me put some makeup on half ass. And then I was
Uh-huh.
like, no, I'm talking to Amanda today. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure she's like the queen of authenticity and would probably tell me, bitch, no, get it together. So
exactly.
I'm going on I don't know, I just couldn't fucking sleep last night. I think I put my head down at like 5 a.m.
Hmm.
Central Standard Time. And you're what, in Philly, I think, an hour ahead?
Yeah. So yeah, is that an hour now? I always mix up the time zones and
E-
then
I know.
the sometimes we're 2 hours apart. So I don't know what time of year what we are now, but it's 10:35 here where I am.
Yeah, you're an hour ahead. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So you didn't sleep.
I didn't fucking sleep. I
Oh
didn't
my
sleep.
God, that's horrible. That's horrible. I
Yeah.
had the weirdest dream last night.
Oh my
I'm
God.
still trying
Can
to
you share?
decipher what the fuck happened and what took place. So I will preface this by saying that I was very close. I still am very close to my grandparents. My grandfather passed away back in 2020 and I was like raised by my grandparents. Essentially, I lived in a house like my mom had me young, so I lived, with them until I was like 5 and then I was still always at there. So glued at the hip. My grandfather was like my rock, my end all be all, my best friend. So he passed away and my girlfriends and I are having a psychic medium night, which I'm super excited for because we usually do it every year, but the guy that we used to get to come moved to Arizona. So we've kind of been like, well, who do we get? So I found this lady who is going to be coming in May. So ever since I booked her and we planned this night with the psychic, I've been having these really off the wall dreams about my grandfather. So I'm like, I really hope you're not doing this and coming to me in my dreams because you're not going to come to me when I just paid this woman for you to come to me. Like, we're having a conversation. Like, stop doing weird shit in my dreams. I don't know. He was like in my dream, um, eh, sending me like pictures of his family with, and the part of it, which I'm so like, how you have a dream and there's something in it and you can't remember. And the more you try, the further it slips away. That's like there was
Yeah.
something underneath the pictures that he was showing me, and it was like written, and I can't remember what it was saying, but it was like something he really wanted me to know. And I'm like sitting here trying to remember what it is, and the more I try, the further it just slips from my mind. So yeah, it's been really weird the past couple of, but we've had all kinds of like astrological shit going on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's has to do with it. I don't know.
So, I mean, in case you can't tell, I like stuff like that.
Yeah, same, me too. I'm not like
Literally.
Astrology is not my thing. It's not my like I always look for the experts to let me know what's going
Yes.
on. Like is Mercury in Gatorade,
Gatorade.
like all the things. We've had like 9 eclipses. I'm like, if we have one more fucking eclipse, I mean, look at my cup. See? I'm all into the woo. Um, but yeah, I don't study it, so I just kind of like look for the experts to tell me like what I need to look out for.
Oh shit. You got
You
me,
know?
girl. You
Yeah.
got me with the Gatorade joke. Oh my God. I love you so much already. Oh shit. Okay. So I love that. I didn't know you were into all the woo.
Oh
like I've
yeah.
watched some, like not some. I've watched several of your shorts, but I didn't know that when collecting data. And so
Yeah.
I love that you even are into that kind of stuff because I am too.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who I run an annual retreat with now. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, her name is Stephanie, and she is a psychic medium. And so, as you were
Mhm.
talking about that, that's all I could think about was like some of my experiences with her. And oh my God, it's just such a beautiful thing
Yeah.
to have somebody like that that can give you that comforting reassurance.
It is.
Anywho,
It's fun.
yeah, I love it. But oh, what I was gonna say was I almost feel like because I am so into that woo, that the dreams, I'd be super interested in seeing how this all plays out. But the dreams are probably coming so that when she does communicate with you, it'll be like so obvious. He'll be like, look, this was like I was
What
already
has
giving you
been showing
stuff,
you.
and
Yeah.
this is how
You're
you're gonna
probably right.
identify. And then
Mm.
she'll probably tell you the answers that you've been looking for is what I think is gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I do
I
that.
haven't so he died in 2020 and I haven't really like had any type of like communication. And I used to do all that. Like, so I started out on my journey, like, I was a Reiki practitioner. I mean, I still do all those things. I used to do readings. And, honestly, I got really sick and tired of the people that I worked with. It's probably going to sound horrible, but it's the truth. And it really turned me off to wanting to help people in that avenue, right? Like, and I'll say this, like, we're all gifted. We all have a gift, right? Like, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not to get like totally woo woo right now, but I think this is important to tell everyone. We all have that gift of that other sense that we don't use, and it's if you wanna do the work to tap into that, like, that's your thing. So, like, I did the work because it was a part of my healing journey, and I started, like, reading and doing all these things for people, and I seen, like, the people that I was working with, I'm like, "This is how I wanna have them improve their lives. This is for me. This is great. Finally found my thing. Good to go." All the people that I worked with that wanted those readings, it was like they just wanted the razzle dazzle. They didn't really want to have to take what I was giving them and put the work in to change their lives. So these people would show up week after week wanting like a reading. And I'm like, well, you didn't do what I told you they were telling you to do last week. So what do you think is going to change this week? Like, you know what I mean? Nobody wanted to really take accountability for their lives. They just wanted that reassurance that they were going to get the end result without having to put the work in to get the end result for themselves. So I was like, "You know what? It was just a vicious cycle." And I'm like, "This is not the avenue for me. I can use my gifts in other ways, and this is the way that I do it." So, just a little sidebar. That was my
Dude,
journey. In
that
and
was
out,
that was pretty deep. That was kind of heavy, and
right?
I'm totally fucking here for it. I love it. I I do. I can understand that completely and how that would be a huge turn off. And that is that's something I as a coach come into contact with too. Like I think some people think that based on other people's success stories, and that's something you share as testimonials and whatnot, that they're gonna get these great results, but it's like you said, the fucking work is work. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
actual work, not a snap of the fingers magician shit, which is I think what they're expecting.
yeah, and it's really honestly, it's really hard to find somebody who is really like and this is just my experience in the spiritual world and, working with other quote unquote facilitators of healing. And, there's a lot of titles that people add on. And for me and the people that I came into contact with, the communities that I came across, it was very ego based. And everybody just wants to slap on a title. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other. And it just got very ego driven, I felt. So it's really hard to find nowadays a facilitator of healing that is not, in their ego. And I didn't want to be associated with that. So that was just a personal choice that I made to kind of like you know, steer in a different direction. And to each their own. But, that was my
Totally.
experience.
Yeah, no, totally. You're making so many valid points so that I personally see, especially
Mm,
like in the world of, I mean, marketing and whatnot. It's
yeah.
just there are a lot. Yeah, that could be a whole episode in itself.
Yeah.
But oh, this fucking brings me to my point.
Mm,
I'm sitting here talking about like looking over here like Hot Mess Express
yeah.
and whatnot, but I wanted to hop in here and just be like, I feel like based on because you have one of those personalities that it speaks through the screen. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I
Thank
watch
you.
you and I'm just like, fuck, I love her. I love her so much. You just are so real. And you have this really great energy about you. And the thing that comes to mind is authenticity. So I was like, I feel like if I were to show up trying to appear to be perfect right now, that would be so inauthentic. And
Mm,
then it would put the self-imposed pressure on me because I'm not fucking perfect.
right.
So, with saying that, I want to talk about just authenticity in general. And I think that you have a really great understanding on that. Everything that you just talked about up to this point was like the kind of stuff that people think but don't fucking say, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that you kind of give a lot of things that we all want to say the voice,
Yeah.
which is probably how you figured out. I mean, if you didn't want to be associated with that world and the ego of coaching and whatnot, and because that's kind of what it is coaching and personal development. I think it's really cool that you found your voice in this way. So, what are your thoughts on, because it seems like a very buzzword authenticity,
Mm,
and it seems like a lot of people talk on authenticity, but like
yeah.
what does that actually mean to you?
I know there's some people are like, I hate that word. I hate
Yeah.
authenticity. I'm like, well, what other word do you want me to use? I don't know. I'm just being
Yeah.
real, being myself. It's like, for me, it means just putting yourself first. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to not doing that and living our lives through the eyes of other people's expectations of what we think they want us to be. And by they, I refer to maybe, people that you grow up with, your family, your parentals, the people who raised you, the people that you look up to, the people that you're kind of like looking for that permission from or that pat on the back, like, great job, you're doing life right. You know, um, we somehow get stuck in that. And it can come from a lot of things. And I don't want to like dive into the whole trauma aspect of that. But I will say, there comes a point when you kind of have to shit or get off the pot, as they say. And kind of just, think to yourself. And I feel like there's always like a moment in our lives where we realize that life is not, uh, we shouldn't take it for granted. You know, we could be here today and gone tomorrow. So, what are you doing with your life? Are you going to be, when your life is complete? When you are, I hope we all have a full life where we're old and wrinkly and on our deathbeds, and we say to ourselves, I lived a full life for myself. Are you going to be saying that to yourself? Or are you going to be saying, oh, thank God I lived my life through the eyes of trying to please my mother or my father or my uncle or my aunt or my grandparents or whoever it may be? I'm so glad I did everything they wanted me to do and I made them proud. But what about you? What have you dove into what makes you happy, what lights you up, what makes you feel alive? Oh, look at you. I love Elmo. Hello. La la la
She likes
la la
Elmo.
la la la. Elmo's world.
Oh my gosh, she even sounds like him. This is my
Oh my
little
god.
this is my little co-host slash
Oh,
buddy
hello.
slash
We're
business
talking
partner.
about being real.
Yeah, and this is kind
And
of
this
part
is
of it
real,
too.
right?
I
Yeah.
love I love how, and you coming from like a spiritual aspect of life. I love how you said we're spiritual beings living human experiences. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I've heard that a couple times here recently. And then like hopping on here and just kind of, owning the fact that I'm not fucking on my game today. This little booger. This little booger did not want me to
Oh,
sleep. Do you remember that? All the times you woke up and you were yelling at me? Do you remember
was you
that?
up? Was you keeping mommy up?
Yeah. And so I'm like, ah, who
You are
better
the
to talk about
cutest.
authenticity? Let's I get it. The what? Oh, do you want to play with that? Here, why don't you go play with it in there? Okay. Anywho, uh, yeah, I
He's so
forgot
cute.
he kind of threw me off track.
Oh,
What
it's
was
fine.
where were we at?
Authenticity.
Yeah, back on authenticity. Fuck. And then you add squirrel brain to the mix. Like, anyway, I love everything you're saying. It's squirrel brain for sure. I love everything you're saying, and what I was getting at was like, whenever you are, some people would say like finding alignment or you're just in the right place at the right time. Some people describe it as like deja vu or I'm on the right path, whatever. But whenever you're like doing the work, and I call them like little winks from the universe, the
Hmm.
little synchronicities and like the little coincidences and how everything lines up. Um, Everything you're saying, I literally over the past few days have been thinking about because there is somebody who has passed away like pretty suddenly and it's affecting a family member of mine and it just freaking breaks my heart. But at the same
Hmm.
time, it's kind of like that I'm wondering if here you can have all of this. Here, look, you got all these things you can play with. This is gardening stuff. Yeah, take it over there though, okay? Yeah, yeah, it is like for Uncle Brooks. Can you take it in there? You're so smart.
Hmm.
But I'm wondering, uh-huh, uh, and Uncle Brooks got toys, okay. He associates his uncle, which is my brother, with gardening and nature.
Oh,
And yeah, that's super freaking sweet that he thought of his uncle.
that's
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh, that is so precious. Anyway, back to authenticity. I'm just wondering if this could be that moment for her where
Hmm.
she's like, yeah, I gotta, because that was one of my really big spiritual awakenings was when my daughter's dad, he passed away a few years ago.
Oh
And
no.
it's just like you have this whole, it's like reimagining life in a sense and what it means and how important it is. And I love how you're talking about how um living your life for you. I think that's so
Yeah.
freaking important. And I don't know about you, but okay, you're in Philly. So I feel
Hmm.
like culture's a lot different there than here. I'm in Mississippi,
Oh
but I used
yeah.
to live in Philly, and so I know
Oh, did you?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, baby. But you gotta go play in the other room, okay? Mm-hmm. That's fine. Stay in there though. Um, but yeah, so living in Philly was completely different than living here. And so there's like a lot of pressure to people please here. Like there's the church and there's the we dress like this and like everything's yes ma'am, no ma'am, like got to be on a timeline type thing. And I
Hmm.
found myself falling so victim to living my life for everybody else. And when I moved away and moved to New York, I moved to New York and then after that I lived in Pennsylvania for a little bit. And I noticed such a difference in like who I was there versus who I was here. And so when I moved back down south, I was like, I fell victim to it again. I was people pleasing and all the things, right? And
Yeah.
I just came out of this bubble, I would say probably when I started this podcast. And that was like in the middle of the pandemic. And ever since then, I've kind of just been slowly finding my own authenticity. Um, but I think it probably took really big moments like, losing somebody like way too soon to kind of shake me up out of that. And I'm not trying to get deep with all this shit, but I just love how it's kind of coming full circle. Everything you said is like shit. This stuff is actually playing out in front of me in real life right now.
Yeah. It's like
And
slap gives you like a slap of reality because we get so stuck in like our everyday thought patterns and we can spiral down into like a black hole, and it takes something like that sometimes, not listening to like the little hints. Sometimes it takes something big to happen to really be like, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
like the way, yeah. You you're mighty good with your words, woman.
Oh,
Like,
thanks.
like,
Well, I
yeah,
am a speaker, it's and then there's times where I'm horrible with my words. So hashtag balance.
balance. Okay, so with all that heaviness, let's lighten it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Yeah.
I never even introduced you. Again, squirrel
Oh,
brain, but Amanda, can you tell all of the beautiful listeners of Just Women Talking Shit who you are, what you do, and I personally know you got a podcast,
yes.
but tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah. So my name is Amanda Yoa. I am a speaker, a podcast host of the show Staying Inspired. That's in its third season. I call myself the hype woman from Philly. And yes, that's the accent that you will be hearing. So I hope you guys all have captions in case there's something that I'm saying that you totally like, what the hell is this chick saying? Just put your captions on. I don't know what else to tell you. But I'm a mom of two. I'm married to my husband. We own our own business in Philly. We're just diving into a new chapter in our lives where we're heading into the real estate investment world. We have some properties in Philly that we're super excited to create some amazing, expansive, you know, ways of financial abundance and life and things that we've, growing up in a row home that if you tripped, you would fall right out of. you know, I'm just grateful that us two Philly kids, from a blue collar neighborhood in Philly, were able to really get ourselves to where we are today. Super excited. And I've been with my husband longer than I've known him longer than we haven't known each other, if that makes sense. We've been together since we were in grade school. And like I said, we have two beautiful children. So yeah, I'm just out here living the dream, living life, keeping it real, sharing my experiences, and above all, having fun while doing so.
Dude, just
Yeah.
two Philly kids. The little time like lived in Philly, I remember housing. Housing was insane. Like
Yeah.
finding somewhere to live, much less like owning somewhere. And yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a crazy. It's Philly's on the up and up. I mean, it's still crazy down there, crime wise, and the whole drug thing is out of control. Um, which is why technically I do not live in Philly anymore. We live right over the bridge in Jersey. We moved here in like 2018 because we had kids, and I thought to myself, I don't want them growing up in this environment. Our neighborhood changed a lot from when we were kids growing up. So I thought, I want to be able to give them that big backyard experience and not have to worry about my kids playing outside. And, our car was getting broken into multiple times during the week to where, like, you're just desensitized to your car being rummaged through, which is like not normal. So we live right over the bridge, can still see the Philly skyline. So whenever I miss her, I just gaze out my window like, there you are, my beautiful baby. I love you, but I had to leave you. But we're always in the city. Our family's there, our business is there. So yeah, it's it's crazy.
Well, that's super cool. Well, I don't remember. It was probably a lot different though then. It was like 2009 when I lived there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a minute. And I feel like, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of shit going on that I didn't know about, because there
Yeah.
always is in the city. But like based on what I've seen, like on television, that and New York City are just like, what the fuck
Mm,
is going on?
yeah. It's
Insane,
crazy.
insane. I never thought I'd see it that bad. Like I'd always heard stories, especially about New York City. Um, my mom would talk about whenever she first went to New York, like I guess whenever maybe before she had me, right before she had me, and she was talking about how fucking just, I mean, like, I'm just gonna be real, but hookers on every corner, and I don't know
Oh
what they
yeah.
prefer to be called, but you can correct me. What do they want to be called? Prostitutes? I don't know.
Prostitutes.
Sex
Yeah.
workers? I'm not trying to
That's
disrespect anybody.
yeah.
But so I mean, it just seems to be like going back that way. And that makes me so sad because we're talking about like two super amazing cities with so much character. And I think that both those cities like really helped me become like the strong woman I am because you gotta, I got street smarts real quick. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
Yep.
I had to be tough and I learned a lot in both those cities. And so it kind of hurts my heart. Not kind of, it does hurt my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some, I mean, you do have to be tough. A lot of times, there's sometimes a disconnect between me and people that I meet from like the Midwest because they're so laid back and they're so, and this could be said for the South as well. It goes back to like what you said, the people pleasing and the city life is just not like that. We kind of have to like we've grown up with this like you got to be like tough as nails in order to survive out in this concrete jungle. So sometimes we come off very like we say it how it is, and you can come off like sometimes people think you're being rude and you're being obnoxious, but and trust me when I say there have been periods in my life where I was rude to people and I thought, but that was just me having to find that balance between speaking my mind, right? And wanting to share and putting myself first, but also saying that with like love and compassion for other people. So there is like a fine line and a balance with that. And it goes back to like what you were saying about like the people pleasing and all that. Like, are you being rude or are you just setting a boundary for yourself, and not falling into that people pleasing? Sometimes people that kind of gets like muddled and people need to understand like you're not being rude. You're standing up for what you believe in. You're putting yourself first and you're not falling into that people pleasing, I can't share my voice. So, the city gives you those rough edges, but I've kind of softened them out a little bit as I've gotten older. But I'm like a fuck around and find out type of girl too. So if you fuck around, you will find out.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I love it so much. Oh, I hope to go back one day. Just
Oh.
I was like a baby, I was like just in college and
Mm.
I don't think I appreciated it as much as I would now. And just to like be able to walk the streets. I lived so back when there was the Art Institute, I was what
Oh,
was
yeah,
that,
it's still there.
Chestnut? Like right in Center City.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I felt like a royal experience if I'm gonna live in Philly for the first time.
Yeah,
But I fucking missed it. It's such a beautiful city.
it
Many
is.
good times, many good times.
Yeah, I love my city. It's on the up and up. Like I said, there's a new mayor, I think, and she's trying to clean up the streets and it's just sad. It's the like you were saying, the prostitutes and the homelessness. It's all encompassing. Majority of those people are on drugs and it's like an epidemic. It's horrible. Philly is like one of the worst in the United States for drug abuse, and it's like the
Mm,
police now, they're just starting to crack down, but before it was kind of like the police patrolled certain areas and they weren't trying to stop anything or prevent anything. They were kind of just corralling them all in and keeping them in like animals in a pen kind of. And it's such a difference. Like where we lived in Philly, if you go like 5 blocks down, it turns into like a third world country. It's horrible. There's homelessness, there's drug abuse out in the open, everything. It's just it's beyond what you could ever imagine unless you've actually seen it for yourself. So, I'm glad the mayor that is in office now, she's cleaning up the streets, and kind of proud that there's a female mayor in the city of Philadelphia. So, shout out.
shout out.
And I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but shout out. Hey girl, Mayor of Philly.
Oh my gosh. Man, yeah, I'm just like trying to imagine it. I've seen like some stuff. I'm not a news watcher. People hate on me for that. They're like, "Well, how do you know what's going on in the world?" I'm like, I don't really try. I
Sometimes
don't
you don't
know a
want to
whole
know.
Sometimes I
Sometimes you
don't wanna
don't
know,
want to
yeah.
know.
Like,
Yeah.
if I watched and listened to the news as much as my husband, I would be terrified to leave my house. Oh my god, I gotta eat. If there were some oh god. I literally wondered if like you could hear that
No.
stomach. That's how loud it was. I was like, oh shit. This is
You'd be surprised what your mic can pick up and what it can't. Like there's times where I'm like, my dog will be like rolling around and I'm like looking at him like, will you stop?
yeah,
Like you can't even hear it. Yeah.
so funny. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like I would never even fucking leave the house,
I
you know?
know.
And so, but oh my God. All I can think about is the good experiences I had there. And speaking of homelessness, and again, I'm like a Southern naive, trying to be Southern. I mean, I was Southern Belle through and through up until I moved to up north, and I still had this person in me that I couldn't not stop and talk to these people, but it was
Yeah.
before it got real bad. You know, like I
Yeah.
remember there was this one woman and I think her name was, no, I don't remember her name, but she was Russian and she was the sweetest thing and all she ever wanted was leftovers. And so I worked at a restaurant and I'd bring them to her.
Oh.
Sweetest thing. And then there was this dude over by 7-Eleven and he was like a war vet. And he too, he was just like, give me some chips or he just wanted some
Mm-hmm.
food. So like to think about that times a million and from my experience, people on drugs, um, yeah, it just hurts my heart to even think about it because I
Yeah.
know how you become not a person anymore
Mm-hmm.
because of the drugs. And like it just fucking sucks. It's a good city. But
Yeah.
if you say that there's a good mayor there and I guess let me know whenever I should come back because I'd love to
Yeah.
go.
I mean, it's good. You could, there's, my friend was just here from Hoboken and we had a great time. I took her to all the, I recommended places that she went to. We met up a day. We went to the Franklin Institute. We went to, where else did we go? We went to Franklin. I took her to my business. We own a restaurant in Philly. So she had some like real Philly food. And I'm like, listen, I know you're probably going to want to go to the Pats and Geno's, but I will tell you, it is just a tourist trap. Like, their cheesesteaks suck. Sorry.
Thank you.
I have to
Fucking
say
thank
it.
you. Can we
Yes.
say that everybody, Pat's and Geno's sucks.
Yeah.
I
Like
I
if
tried them. I mean, in comparison, I literally had like at the what was it, the Fortune or I don't remember the name of the mall, but across from the Art Institute, they had a fucking more amazing cheesesteak than
mhm.
Pat's and Geno's.
It's so expensive and it's like so shitty. But it just goes to show like what reputation and marketing will do for you. But
Yeah.
if you want a real Philly cheesesteak, well, first I got to shout out, take yourself to the Fresh Work, support Richmond. That's my business. But my personal favorite, my personal favorite is Angelo's, which is down in like South Philly, I believe. That's where you will get a real
Hmm.
genuine. That's where the people of Philadelphia go for their cheesesteaks. Places like that. We don't
Yeah.
go to Pat's and Geno's. But I said to her, I'm like, listen, I get it. Like if you want to go and like I'll take your picture out front of Geno's, we can just say you got one or like, if you want to buy one for like 15, $16 and take a bite out of it just to say you had it, you're probably going to spit it out, but I mean, I'll support you in that. And then we'll go and we'll get like a real cheesesteak.
A real cheesesteak. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to knock it, y'all, but
Oh, no, I'm listen,
it's
I'm
just not
saving you
very
time and
good.
money. Time and money. Take
No,
yourself to
yeah, it's like
Angelo's. Yeah.
the line was long. I remember being expensive, and I
Mhm.
remember not tasting very good. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
save yourself that. So wait, tell me about your business. You guys make cheesesteaks? Because
Yeah.
I'm
So,
immediately turned on. I'm like,
yes.
what?
We make your typical like food that you should not have on the daily. Your typical Sunday football, let's have wings, let's have cheesesteaks, let's have hoagies. Yes, we call them hoagies. You probably call them subs or sandwiches. In Philly, we call them
Yeah,
hoagies.
yeah, no, down south it's usually like a sub or a
A
sandwich.
sub. Yeah.
But what killed me was in New York whenever people were like, "I'll take a hero." I'm like looking up at the sky, like, "What?
Yeah. Like a Superman flying in? What are we ordering? With my lunch,
Landing?"
with my ham and cheese on a roll? Where are you at? Yeah, we call them hoagies. Don't ask me why. But so yeah, we serve all that type of food and we've been down there for about Oh my gosh, like 15 some years. I'm getting old, girl.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, we've been down there for a while. It started my husband and his brother, and then he sold the business. So I think we've owned it for maybe 13 years, I believe. So yeah.
Dude, as somebody who's worked in the restaurant industry, like, those are like the first jobs. And then like there's also the jobs when you're a single mom and you gotta put food on the table jobs.
Mhm.
That's a huge accomplishment, man. Like most people
Yeah.
don't make it past like their first or second year in the restaurant business. So
It's a
fuck,
lot.
fuck
It's a
yeah.
lot. Especially, I'm grateful that we have like a great staff. And it enables my husband to be off more because he works so much, especially when my daughter was younger. She'll be 11 in September, but when she was like, 3, 4, like he missed a lot of things because he had to be at work. So I was just talking to a girl who is already doing like what me and my husband are stepping into, like real estate investment. And she was telling me that she just bought a property that used to be a restaurant. She's going to open up the restaurant. And I'm like, girl, we're investing so that we can get out of the restaurant business eventually one day because it's not something that you can do forever. It's hard to find like a great staff that will run a business the way that you run a business. There's nobody's going to run your business like you do. It's just point blank, no matter who you have. And that's not trying to knock anybody and their work ethic. It's just when you own something yourself, nobody's going to put that all that you put into your business. So, hi. That being said, I said to her, I'm like, "Yeah, well, I was like, I'm not trying to deter you from doing anything, but I'll keep it real because she asked. I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot. You're always there. When something happens, you got to answer the phone, so it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, like the financials and the fact that I mean just it's hard in general, but also people are buttholes.
Mm, true that.
I find that whenever it comes to food, like people can be really mean. Like I
Yeah.
remember, I wonder if you knew about this place. So, and I think it was 2009 is when I lived there, and it was on like, oh, don't get me lying. I don't know, somewhere on Chestnut, but there was a Good Burger. They opened a Good Burger. Did you ever hear about that place?
No. Mm-mm. I know we had a wall. I think we still do have a Wahlburgers, but I never heard of Good Burger.
Okay. And there was like a Five Guys somewhere
Oh
down.
yeah, we have Five Guys.
Took out
Yeah.
the Five Guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Good Burger didn't last that long.
Okay.
But I remember because you got to remember, I'm originally from the South, and so my feelings were like I would get my feelings hurt. I had to toughen up real quick. Uh, earmuffs. Don't say don't repeat everything you hear.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trademark.
but I remember like just being so fragile and people coming in and like if the kitchen was taking too long, dude, like people would take stuff out on me. I will never forget a woman took her receipt after yelling at me like vigorously. I was like crying in front of all these people, like probably a step away from snot bubbles.
Uh-huh.
And after chewing me out, gets the rise out of me that she wants because I'm like crying at this point, takes her receipt, crumbles it up, and throws it in my face.
Mm.
And it's like, what? Now, me today would not put up with that. There's no way in this world. But all I'm saying is, yeah, I joke about like one day, maybe that'll be my retirement plan. Like, I'll get that little cafe or something by the beach. And like, but, I'll be like that sexy, white, foxy lady
Well, that's where you wanna
bartending.
be. Yeah, you wanna like that you have to strategically place yourself. So, like, if you're gonna have, like, a restaurant in the city, you're gonna have to deal with city people. Whereas if you're, a restaurant on the beach where everyone's on vacation and in a great mood, then that's probably you're gonna have a better time, right? You're
Oh,
gonna have
it'll be
better,
better.
like, customer interaction.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that beach idea, I dig that.
Okay. So it's still on
Mhm.
the list then. But no, there's no way in the world I don't think I could survive it. So either way, it's a huge accomplishment. It's what I
Thank
wanted to
you.
just.
Thank you. I
Congratulations.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you're
It's a lot.
welcome. You're
It's a
welcome.
lot.
But what else you got going on in your world before we hop off here? What's in the world
Um,
of Amanda? Got new
y-
episodes coming up, I'm sure.
I do. Yeah, all my episodes come out on Thursdays, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard, so you can check them out. I'm actually rebranding um, after this season. This will probably be my, let me think, third rebrand. And I some people might look at that and be like, "Oh my god, she's so not put together." Well, you're exactly right. Okay, Karen, I'm not put together. Because there's an evolution to everything that we do, right? Like we're always growing. I always say, like, you have to, in everything that you do, you have the doing over here and you have who you are over here. And along that way, like you kind of like meet in the middle. And then that's where like you explode and you find your success and you find your rhythm and you find like your niche, right? So that's been my ongoing journey is, getting out of my own way, overcoming things that would make me hold myself back instead of just fully expressing who I am and what it is that I really want to do. And the more you work on yourself, the more you find that clarity in what it is that you're doing. So, I attribute it to the evolution, which is me in my podcasting journey. So, I'm super excited. I don't want to give it away because it's um I'm leaving it, as like a unveiling, if you will, for my community and my audience. So you'll have to follow me on amandayoa.official on Instagram. That's usually where I hang out. I have been trying the TikTok thing. Listen, I'm an elder millennial, okay, with a lot of Gen X influence. So TikTok it's just not my thing. And I just couldn't, for some reason, get on to TikTok's more of like my guilty pleasure. Like the end of the night, I'm doom scrolling until I pass out sometimes because I just don't watch TV. But showing up professionally, I've just been like, oh, God, do I have to do that? Because so I'm doing it. So follow me on TikTok as well. I think it's Amanda Yoa. So you can find all the crazy shit that I'm doing and what I got going on. But that's the biggest thing in my life, as well as, my husband and I stepping into the real estate world and all the craziness that comes with that. And, being a sports mom, my daughter's in softball, so we're going crazy right now with games and all that, which is a lot of fun. It, gives the family a reason to get out into the nice weather and watch a good game and cheer her on. And what is it? Take your child to work days coming up. So I'm going to do a bonus episode with my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So
Are
that
they
should be
still doing
fun.
that? What grade
Yeah,
what grade is
apparently.
she? What grade is she in?
She's in 5th grade.
She's in fifth grade. Well, damn, my kid's in fifth grade and they've mentioned nothing about it.
Yeah,
Huh.
I didn't know it was a thing until they sent home a form, saying like, yes, they're going to go to work. Which, you know, I guess they have to do that so they know they're not just home sitting doing nothing. So I thought, well, you can stay home and stay at home with me and I'll show you what I do throughout the day and we'll record a podcast together. So we'll see how this goes. She's probably going to bust on me the whole time. I actually thought about doing like what she thinks about like my heartthrobs from back in the day, like Devon Sawa and who else?
Oh my gosh.
My God, what is his name? Russo? The guy who played Daniel from Karate Kid.
I knew you're
My biggest crush ever,
yeah,
little girl crush.
I had it hot for him too.
Mhm.
No, not so much now that I'm older. I'm like,
Yeah, he's
your
not my type.
your
Yeah.
taste has changed.
Yeah. He's not my type.
But
Um,
oh
but
my
yeah,
God.
so it'll be fun. It'll be a
That
fun
would be
time.
that'd be so funny because my daughter and I have such different tastes. She's 11. Oh my gosh. Anyway, if they don't do that whole take your daughter to work day or take your kid, I just made we should just do it on our own. I'm jealous. I'm kind of
Yeah.
jealous because I always wanted to like go on one of those work days. I never got to. And so that's going to be fun for her, I bet.
Yeah. I remember always going into the office with my mom and being like, this is not what I want to do in life. Thanks for showing me this because it's like this is what I don't want to do.
Oh
But I always
my.
enjoyed going at the same time because there was always something fun. But at the same time, I'm like, God, I want to do this. How does she do this every day? Kind of gives you a
Yeah,
little more
so
appreciation for your parents.
right, right. So I know we got to wrap it up, but that makes me think about how can we like give the ladies at the school some shout outs? Because every time I go in there, I know what you're talking about. I go in there and I'm like, these ladies deal with this shit every day.
Hmm.
I'm not somebody that can just like have the same thing happening every single day like that routine. Like I was meant to be an entrepreneur through and through. Like I
Yep.
gotta, you know what I mean? Like
Same. Yeah.
these ladies, I feel like it takes a special person to like be in a school. I guess is
Hmm.
what I'm getting at. Because I don't think I could do it. The paperwork, the announcements, the just thinking
Yep.
about it stresses me out. It just seems like it would get boring.
Your kids times 22.
Yeah, again,
Imagine that.
special thank y'all for doing what you do so we don't have
Yeah.
to do it.
'Cause
Thank you.
I ain't homeschooling my kids. You hear
Uh-uh.
about the crazy shit people are doing. They're like, "I'm gonna homeschool my kids because 'cause I'm tired of these schools teaching this stuff." I'm like, "You are
Yeah.
out of your mind." Like, I can't. I give
I'm
them props because I could never. Mm-mm.
I'm like I try like I am kind of conspiracy theorist, but then I'm like, yeah, but I also I want my sanity. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. I'm dreading. Yes, I said it. I'm gonna be the mom who said it. I'm dreading that summer break is coming up and I'm gonna be stuck with these little
Yep.
I just
Yep.
am because it's like we do they need structure, they need routine, but and I mean I'm not saying I'm like all pro everything that the schools believe in or
Right.
anyway, I've heard all these TikToks and stuff here recently and it's just like the schools are doing this and schools are doing that and the schools are out to get our kids and I'm like, "Oh, but my head sure does hurt a lot less when they're not here."
Right. And here's the thing too, like schools are going to teach what they teach, but then that's where you step in as a parent and you do your job that
Mm,
despite what they're, pay attention to what your kids are learning and give your opinion, on the subject matter. Now, all the things that you see going on and I've never seen them in my kids' schools, but some people talk about some radical shit that is being taught
uh,
and to that, I just say, have a conversation with your kids. So if homeschooling's not your thing, maybe homeschooling is your thing. To that,
maybe
I say God gave you the patience of a saint.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like to think I could do it, but and then this one starts going crazy, and I'm just sitting here thinking about I don't even know how to do this math.
Well,
What
girl.
has happened? Like they have I go to teach my kids, and they're like they look at me like I'm stupid. They're like,
Mhm.
"You're such a dumb bitch." Like I'm just like,
My daughter, math was never my forte. My husband did my math, like especially in high school. He did all my homework and stuff. But the stuff that she brings home, I'm like, I don't even remember. First of all, the school system over here, I went to Catholic school. So we were always like I realized it when we went into college, like how behind Catholic school systems are compared to some public school systems, especially over here where my kids are. The things that they learn at an early age, I'm like, I didn't learn this till like second grade. They're doing it in like kindergarten. I'm like, what? My 5-year-old can speak Spanish. Like, what is happening? I feel like an invalid. I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, don't ask me, ask your father. Math question, go to daddy.
I thought I was good at math until they brought me through homework, and I
Yeah.
was like, I go
I'm like,
full.
well, what do you think the answer is?
Yeah,
And she'll explain it. And I'm like, yep, that's
that
exactly
sounds
right.
actually.
Then she'll come home like, Mom, that answer was not right. And I'm like, well, then she had the both of us fooled because I checked it and swore it was right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh, well, this has been wonderful. You are amazing.
yes.
And
Thank you for
you
having me.
Yeah, for sure. Um, you talking about your rebrand. Thanks for normalizing that because I have been
Yeah.
struggling with this whole, do I do it? Do I, because it'll be my either second or third time. I've been in and out trying to figure out what this beast is.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's hard to put a label on it, and
Mm-hmm.
I love that you were like, it's evolving. That's my whole thing. If
Yep.
you follow my account very long, evolving. And I just love it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what the rebrand's going to look like. What all is that going to entail? Like, you look like you do the photo shoots and all the things. Like, it looks like so much fun.
It is. That last photo shoot that I had was so much fun. And it was just expressing like the fun part of getting to do what I do, like dressing up and expressing my, my message through my clothing on stage when I speak in front of people. And the rebrand has that feel. But it's more so, when I speak, my audience is a lot of women and moms, and I just want to provide a space where we can kind of just unwind, unclip, unzip, and just let everything out, like give that like Saturday morning bowl of cereal type of feel that we've all been looking for, because adulting is hard. It really is hard. And it's evolved because when I first started my podcast, it was strictly just inspirational, you know, like having a guest on who's a coach, that coach, this coach, this mindset coach, confidence coach, success coach. And they would come on, talk about what it is that they did, where can people find you, wrap it up. And I thought, you know what? I want people to bring who they are too. I want them to be able to comment on like relatable shit that goes on in our lives. Like, should Beyonce be doing country music? Was Taylor Swift's song about Kim Kardashian? OJ died. Why did he have people sign a DNA before coming in and saying their goodbyes? That's a little sketchy. So, bringing all these things up and having a real conversation that you would with your girlfriends while getting some inspiration as well, you know? So that's how it's evolved over time. And I thought, well, here I am. And staying inspired was kind of giving like not the energy that I'm putting out nowadays. So it's time to break out of the cocoon.
I love it so much. I love it. I love his show. I love your energy. You're just awesome. You're so
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see like what the rebrand looks like. I know it's
Thank
going to be a whole
you.
thing.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, it's been great.
Thank
I'm
you
glad
so
we
much
finally
for
got to
having
do
me.
this because I know like our schedules between
Mhm.
kids and whatnot, we are like, anyway. So we
Yeah.
finally got to meet. I'm so happy.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was fun. I
It
enjoyed
was
this
so
so
much
much.
fun.
Yes.
So much fun. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds
All right.
good.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.